Hey folks, Mike here today with some thoughts here on Yakuza 4. So I just played through the game. I completed it a couple minutes ago. Went through the end credits on that. And yeah, as usual, I'm going to do premium adventure mode here so I can talk about the game and show you a bit of gameplay without spoiling anything, since this is happening after the main campaign. So obviously, the reason for this is these are story-driven games. Once again, if you've not seen any of my previous videos, I've said that several times now. But yeah, let's just get out of here and see if we can find a side mission, if possible. So yeah, before talking about the game specifically, I'll go over some of the stats here that I have. So for this one, I got 10.51% completion. So that's not a lot of completion at all. And 16 hours and 47 minutes of playtime. Now that playtime, I think at least 3 hours of that is, pausing it, going to do something. And maybe I'm in the middle of a cutscene and then I have to, hop out of the game real quick or whatever. It happens. I definitely kept a look on this one to see if the playtime will go up if I was just paused, and it definitely seems to. But anyways, even if it doesn't, just under 17 hours, rather short, and it makes sense, right? I didn't do very many side missions at all, hence the really low completion percentage. I just didn't feel the need to do it in this game, and with the way it's structured, I really wanted to play through the story, so I really want to take a bit of a break from the campaign / story and do some side stuff here and there, and that kind of stuff, because this game is a lot better than Yakuza 3. I thought 3 was very slow going at the beginning. It took a good long while for it to ramp up, and the final third to quarter, roughly, third to a quarter, somewhere around there. That's kind of where the game started picking up and got pretty interesting and fun. But before that, yeah, not a whole lot. So these are people that I am familiar with because we would have seen them in previous games. So we're doing a side mission here. This one seems a little bit more substantial than some of the other ones, but at least it'll give you a bit of an idea of what some of the stuff is like in this game. So in terms of story, I quite like what they've done with this game. You're not playing, kind of like Yakuza 0, you're not playing only as Kiryu for the whole game. They have multiple storylines that all kind of have their own starting points. They kind of branch off and come back together at some point. And I really like what they did with this one. Everything comes up together at the end and in a pretty interesting way. Thinking, let's see. I know I mentioned that's kind of iffy in the review for Yakuza 3 if it was worth playing that game or not from a story perspective, because they still do a kind of a decent job at allowing you to hop into any of these games without necessarily having played through some of the older ones. And there's a couple bits here and there that, knowing what happened in 3 can make a bit more sense. But at the same time, you don't necessarily have to play it. There's a couple things that you'll kind of grasp later on as they go over stuff. But if you did play that game in particular, you'll get right away, where some of these things have happened, right? You get some history or whatever. But anyways. So we've technically not finished that mission, but anyways, let's see what else we have. So yeah, I suppose I'll show off the completion list and why it's so low. So coin lockers, this is part of the completion list as well. We've got a couple bits and pieces here. Basically, they're random keys that you might find on the ground. Just for fun, is there one up here? There's usually one in here. In all of the games. I'm surprised there isn't one. Anyways, it's usually like a little sparkle on the ground you'll find. So they're scattered throughout the map. You get the key. Oh, this is garbage, but you get the idea. Part of the crafting system. But yeah, you get a key. You know, you unlock some things. Beyond that, you know, what you've ordered at the restaurants, you can see there's a lot of restaurants I didn't even visit once. I haven't modded a weapon in the game. I've not done any side missions where I've become allies with people. I've done one revelation. Good. All the mini games. I've not done a single mini in this game. So you kind of get the idea. I'm not going to go over some of the other stuff. But yeah, I didn't feel the need. So in some of the previous games, either the side stuff was interesting or I felt like kind of underleveled. So doing side stuff can help. Oh, there you go. Here's a key. So doing some of the side stuff can help level up and get items and stuff. But for this one, I felt like the difficulty was pretty spot on. So I didn't feel the need to do that. And the side stuff hasn't been crazy interesting. Oh, we're going to have to fight this guy. No, we can sneak just by. So, yeah, not that I'm avoiding doing the side stuff necessarily, but, you know, like I said, I found the story to be really good and interesting, so I never felt the need to actually go out of my way and do it. Yeah, I've talked about combat. We'll see if I can grab one of these random dudes to show it off a little bit. So the way this game has a little bit... Oh, this guy's gonna fight. So one of the things I've seen, or I've talked about in the past, I don't like the fact that the combat in some of the games is like the same, you know, 3, 4... Well, it's basically the same light, heavy combo, or, you know, the same strategy used over and over. Yes, there's other moves and there's other stuff you can do, but I don't feel the need to learn them. And so I don't go out of my way to necessarily learn them, and it can be a problem for difficulty spikes, but this game has been pretty easy. It wasn't a problem. They do mix it up a little bit because you're not only playing as one character, so there is a little bit of variety in that sense, but it's still fundamentally the same for everyone. It's not like I think it was Kiwami 1 where I was changing stances a lot, and that was kind of more interesting in that sense. But anyways, I think that's about it. I can go on for much longer, I suppose, but I found this game to be pleasant and enjoyable. I really liked where the story went. I like what they did with it. You could see the clear evolution over time. Oh, right. It's like, oh, that's... I was doing something that I'm trying to remember what the heck it was. This is a fun ability. It's freaking ridiculous, but these guys are actually kind of strong, which is interesting. Anyways, yeah, so I guess that's Yakuza 4 in a nutshell. I like what they've done with the story. I like the direction they want. What I was saying earlier was there's kind of a build-up. So obviously, Zero is a much newer game than almost everything after it, and so you have this like supremely well done game, and then you have remakes of 1 and 2, which you can see, yeah, okay, they're remakes, they're older games. You know, they've done good work at making them feel a bit more modern, but they didn't want to go out of the way and change the story a lot either, right? And then you get dropped into 3, and it's just like, ooh, okay. But as expected, you know, 3 didn't get any of the benefits of the other games by being fancier. So this game, it gets a little bit of extra, or it definitely seems better because it is more modern. Oh. Yeah, beyond that, if you've played 3, I think the big difference in this one, holy shit, this guy's got a gun. The big difference in this one is they've added a little bit more in terms of stuff above and underground, which is kind of interesting, which is kind of what I was trying to show off. I was trying to sneak by that dude so I didn't have to do any of this stuff, but taking advantage of this shotgun. Here, eat a advertisement. So that to me is kind of the bigger difference. Because yeah, they've added some new stuff on the map. It feels a little gimmicky, like it's kind of neat at first, and they use it in some interesting ways. But at the same time, it feels a little gimmicky. Oh, this is another side thing. Alright, one more battle. Make it get to where I wanted to go, which is that alleyway just off to the right there. Come on, get up. I'll point out that I am playing on PC. These games are available on Game Pass, of course. So, or, yeah, Yakuza 0 through 6. The newest 7 is not on there. And I don't believe any of the side ones like Judgment are on there either. But with that said, yeah, they're available on Game Pass. Give them a go, right? That's a that's a great way to get into them. Give them a go. Try them out. See if you like them or not. I've seen these guys before too. So we can skip through that. So this is another thing too, like you know, the newer games have more of this voiced out. They tends to be less boxes like this. And, you know, you have to remember, these are, I believe the first 2 were PlayStation 2. 3 and 4 are PlayStation 3 era games. I think the first was an early PlayStation 3 game at that. So this was a little bit more common back then. You might not remember it being that way because, you know, you'll think about a lot of the great games that came out especially near the end. They're definitely a level above, but yeah, so you kind of get the idea. There's stuff about the city, and similarly underground. So it's a way to get around and whatnot. But anyways, I'll end this here. I know I've probably stretch it much longer than it needs to be, but it is what it is. I just kind of ramble off things I could think of as I go along here. So, like I said, I just beat the game, and it's really good. I definitely can recommend this one. Still kind of slightly iffy with 3, but so far it's still been a pretty fun game. So I'll probably follow up with Yakuza 5 next. So I'll see you guys in the next one, and hope you guys enjoyed.